Phew, Kevin. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Oh, dear. I'd like to welcome everyone to Unity of the Seacoast, where two or more are gathered. We always see a crowd, especially those of you who happen to be new on live stream. Welcome, and please, at any time, feel free to visit us here at our place in Dover. My name is Bonnie Fladlin, and I've been a grateful member of Unity Churches for going on 28 years, and 8 of those years at Unity on the River. When I moved to New Hampshire, I was so grateful they opened Unity down here on 2nd Street in Dover, so it was closer. We'll begin with the great daily word this morning. Hope and faith. Hope draws within me and leads me to deepen in faith. As Advent season begins, I say no to pessimistic or hopeless notions that may have crept into my thinking, dimming my hope and weighing on my mind and heart. Today I say yes to goodness and positivity. I feel a sense of renewed hope dawning within me. It promises something wonderful is on its way. In these moments, I feel my faith reborn. I affirm my belief that no earthly condition, no worldly circumstance is greater than spirit. This is where I place my faith in the power, presence, love, and grace of God. As I call upon these divine attributes within myself, I perceive them more readily in others. I grow in faith that together we have the power to create the world of our highest imagines. And from Romans 15:13, may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so that you may abound in hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. And again, the affirmation is hope and faith. Hope dawns within me and leads me to deepen in faith. And we also have a practice of saying our mission statement, which will be on the bottom of the screen here. If you feel, please say it along with me. Our mission statement is: we are a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path to spiritual living, to awakening oneness with God within us all. And we recite this each week, as we just did, but we close the year out to get set for a new year. We should begin to reflect on what it will mean to us in the new year and what actionable things can we attach to it, so it becomes alive in our hearts. Inclusion and openness will be part of TOP's theme for the year. Thank you, Tom. You may also check on our website. You can see the weekly announcements. All our talks are archived there, if there is something you want to look back and reflect on. We also have a donate button there called Tithely. If your heart calls you to tithe, you can just download that app if you don't already have it, and it's a very simple process to do. And if you feel called to mail a check instead, our mailing address is Unity of the Seacoast, McConnell Center, Suite 246, 61 Locust Street, North Dover, New Hampshire, 03820. And also our Charles, who's right over here, has a meditation the first Monday of the month at 7 p.m. We have also been broadcasting live to you on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Just type in Unity of the Seacoast in the YouTube search button and pray real hard. I think it's got a little easier. We will eventually have many of the past services archived there as well. And also, there is a gratitude board right out here. As you go out, it's right in your right, and we are going to try to fill the gratitude board out there. I already filled mine in. I could have filled it up. But and also I want to mention to you, this is discussed at the business meeting actually. Every month, Thursday in the month, Gary Band and the tenants meet in room 323. It's kind of like for a meet and greet. And I'll tell you, I used to go there, a few years ago, and I was surprised. We had been in our other location probably 4 years, and no one even knew about us. So it's a good way to meet the other tenants, and I'm sure there's new ones here, and just let them know, when we meet, what activities we have, or whatever you feel called to do.
And they have soup.
Oh, and they usually have a great lunch, soup and salad and something to drink. It was great. I'm sure they'll have it this year too. But anyway, I'm planning on going this Thursday night. We're also planning our Christmas season. We will have an in-person service the Friday before Christmas at 7 p.m. We will have a short talk, then Barbara will lead us in Christmas carols. Also, on Christmas morning, we will be broadcasting our Christmas message. Our guests again will be Reverend Russell Highland, Reverend Sandra Campbell, Faith Riberia, and it will be hosted again by our wonderful Lynn Richard. And this is our third year, so it has become a tradition for us. At the end of the service today, we will have a follow-up meeting to our meeting from 3 weeks ago.
Did that last week. I forgot to edit
Oh,
that out.
I thought so. I said, wow, that's awful quick, but that's okay. I'm just being a good doobie and reading everything on here. Okay, so in another practice we have used and continue, many Unity churches do it, it's a Sanskrit saying of namaste, which means the divine in me sees and blesses the divine in you. Namaste. 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 Okay, so also, I forgot to mention this. Oh, also on Christmas morning, we'll be broadcasting our Christmas message. Our guests again, I just read that. Then we will begin our burning bowl ceremony on the week of January 1st, and the following week, our white stone ceremony. If you haven't been to either of these rituals, it's great. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. So now I think we'll have another beautiful solo by Kevin, please. My favorite part to introduce our speaker, Tom Schindler. Wait a minute. I'm gonna.
I just am standing.
I especially want to give kudos to his wife, Casey Schindler. Always there behind that laptop with the live stream, along with Linda. Yeah, we're so grateful that everyone who's got these expertise have come forward and helped out when we needed the help. I was so grateful. But I wanted to mention that. I couldn't help but think. I was thinking, Tracy talked about perfection last time. When I try to be perfect, I'm petrified. I'm nervous. If I'm just who I am, and Tom talks about that. But anyway, I couldn't help but think of Tom. No matter what, he's here. Whether it's on crutches, whether it's a walker, whether it's in a wheelchair, he's here. Even right after he had his leg surgery, we were having a problem with that live stream, and he was directing Casey, maybe Linda, I don't remember if you're here, how to fix it. He fixed it. So no matter what, Tom Schindler is always here for us. He always reaches out. So I thank you so much, my dear friend. Welcome, Tom Schindler.
I'm always here because I'm lonely. Oh, it's so good to look out and see everybody here today. You have no idea how much this means to me. And Kevin, I want to thank you. For those who don't know, Kevin is who we went and saw when he did Shrek. The role was originally written for him, but he had prior commitments, so they gave it to that Mike Myers guy. But we got to see the real deal a couple of weeks ago. And well, oh yes, okay. Our mission statement is we are a loving, nurturing community dedicated to being a positive path of spiritual living to awaken oneness with God within us all. The reason I mention that as we come to a new year, I would like us to focus on how we can put this into action. It just can't be something that we recite and dismiss. It's got to be part of our mission. It's a mission statement. My goal toward the year, my theme will be inclusion. I want our community and our world to know exactly what we stand for. It's just a great world and we're all better and we all hug each other. I'm so thankful for the Christmas season. We get to do this. By the way, in the picture, these trees look so good. They could hold ornaments and everything. And then when I opened up the box, it like came from the Charlie Brown Christmas tree factory. And I was like, well, I gotta use them. So we begin our Advent season. This hope talk is called Hope in 38 Orchard Street. That was a house that I lived in as a child. But it's such a joy to be here in person this year to do this. It was fun last year, but to get the feedback from everybody means so much to me. Hope, faith, and love are the four that we will celebrate this year. Others have peace, and the orders may vary. I chose mine because I think hope is the most important one to begin with. That's the birth of faith. And I also chose it because I was buying these candy letters, and they didn't have a lot. They had a lot of P's and O's and M's. We came real close to being Advent of Mop, Moo, Pom Pom, and Pooh. But I was able to find hope, which is a good thing. So that's where it begins this year. And Charles Fillmore wrote, hope is the expectation of good in the future. Somehow this thing gets shorter every week. I guess it's staying short. I'll have to bring a chair or kneel next week. But hope is the expectation of good in the future. The quality of sense mind being subject to time. Faith is a certain knowledge that our good is ours right now. It is God, and it goes beyond time and space. And the reason I like that Charles Fillmore mentioned going beyond time and space, because when I think of hope, I can fold back time. And I remember a time as a kid where youthful hope abounded. And again, it was this house that we lived in, 38 Orchard Street in Nutley, New Jersey. I was maybe 7 or 10 years old. And it was the last house that we were a complete family in. It was before we got divorced. It was before my brother joined the service. It was that type of neighborhood that as soon as you saw the first house, you knew you felt home and safe. It was before I knew about being poor. It's a time when you're a kid, when you're in the moment, that untouched moment that being a youth can bring. Childlike eyes seem wide open, yet as wide as they open, they only filter in the sunlight and the good. This was a hopeful neighborhood where people checked in on you. I remember I had an accident on a bicycle. I was riding a bicycle with no brakes down a hill, and I ran into a cement truck. The cement truck won, but that week, everyone in the neighborhood would come in to our house, and check on me, make sure I was okay. I remember my friend Danny, who was my childhood friend, he would come over every Saturday morning, and we would make the most elaborate omelets. By elaborate is we just mix eggs and dump them in. We didn't know you could put stuff and fold it or any of that. But in our heads, we were this incredible chefs. And then we would go to his mother's house to eat another breakfast. And the reason we did that is because, well, she made bacon. And for us at that time, not everyone made bacon on Saturday mornings. It was, frosted flakes or something. So it was great. And even now, every once in a while, Danny's sister will post pictures of his mom, who's in her early to mid 90s. And it always brings me back to what a kind person she was. And hopefully some of these moments and memories will bring you back, that you recognize some of yourself and some of the hope you had in these moments. Our neighborhood seemed stable at the time, but it was a time when the world was changing. It was like from 1969 to 72. There was a war. For us, it hit home. My uncle was over there. And there was a struggle between the old buttoned up ways and the new tie-dye, relaxed ways of the day. Music was coming at us faster and different, and we were doing everything to keep up, and it seemed like we couldn't, but we kept up with all types of music. Equal rights were on the agenda. Sadly, weren't moving as fast and as equal as we had hoped for at the time. Something else was happening at the time, which may have contributed to the demise of my parents' marriage. Single incomes were no longer enough, and parents were going out, and we became two income families. And it was the beginning of my parents each finding their way in life. But for a youth, for me in this moment, it was a time of hope, and Christmas hope was the best. It was during this time of year that we saw the good in all, and there was that expectation, as Charles Fillmore put it, of things to come. On our street and the adjacent streets, things were lit up, all decorations. We'd drive around and we'd see nativities on people's lawns. Some were really elaborate, and some were those plastic lit up ones that just seemed to fade every year, but they were still so much fun to see. Mangers were important to me at the time, and still are, but they represent something tender. A newborn, cold night, protected by the love of its parents. God shining down on them, innocent, pure. And it was a time of year when we kind of felt that way about everyone would meet and the things that we were doing. It was a time before they invented the Christmas light torture test. Those string lights where if a bulb went out, your day was shot trying to figure out which bulb was gone so you could get the whole thing to work. We had those big bulbs, so it was out, you knew what it was. It was a simpler time. Some people would put those on a tree, an evergreen tree outside. Others would line their house. Our neighbor next door, the guy who kept string around his yard so the neighborhood kids wouldn't run on his yard, he would arrange every year so he had the exact pattern. I didn't know what OCD was at the time, but I'm sure this guy had it in droves. We would drive down Franklin Avenue, which was the main street in town, and all the lights and the wires that went across the street, they were all decorated with sometimes it seemed like tinsel or wreaths or gold stuff, and it just looked so big. It wasn't like New York City big, but to us it was our town, and it was Christmas. It meant the season was in full swing. We didn't have a local sledding hill, so me and the neighborhood kids, when it would snow, we would slide down our street, Orchard Street, and try and bail before it teed into Prospect Avenue, and we would get run over. Occasionally, a car would turn up our street, and you'd veer toward the curb. If you got to the curb, you were lucky, because chances are you could hit a parked car. And that was the same street that the day after Christmas we played tackle football in, because someone always got a football for Christmas, and again, we didn't have a local big playground, and everything was asphalt, and so you lived and died by the asphalt. Fortunately, most of us lived. We didn't worry about the future. We didn't even worry about school after Christmas break. We just hung out, lived in the moment. I remember one Christmas Eve, it was so cold, but me and a friend across the street, Stephen Ferry, we just sat in his backyard shooting baskets that whole Christmas Eve with a relative of his from Pennsylvania. And we used the term lucky stiff, and that just meant someone who was lucky. But he just could not get over why we'd put stiff at the end of the word. Never occurred to me that our talk was regional and that they just didn't know it the rest of the country. Sometime after Thanksgiving, we would go out to get a tree. And I'm sure there were plenty of wonderful places in Nutley to buy a tree. But every year, my father would pass a different place somewhere on the way back from Newark. We had to go there because that was the best spot to get the tree. He'd never been there before. And every year, even though it was a different place, it always seemed like the same three people ran that thing. It was this really old skinny guy who smelled like cigarettes and whiskey. A middle-aged guy who still smelled like cigarettes and whiskey, but just a little heavier set. And then some kid my age just wondering, is this all it is? And I like to think that at some point, he just packed up. He has a Christmas tree farm in Vermont, and he's breathing in all nature can. And maybe perhaps he looks back and remembers that family trying to tie a tree with burlap rope or whatever that was to the top of their 72 Duster. Mom would try to make it a family event to decorate the tree until we actually tried to decorate the tree. Then she'd slap your hand because it wasn't done in the way that she wanted it. So by the end, Mom would decorate the house and we in the tree, and we would just wait for candy canes. As soon as they were up, we'd start eating them. She always had a stash hidden so she could repopulate the tree, and they never ran out. And this street was our Wonder Years. Remember the show Wonder Years? Even close to the neighborhood, you know, people had their Jets coat and all that. We didn't have a Winnie Cooper. Instead, we had friends of my older brother and sisters, Lorraine, Dodie, and Doreen. And they had no reason to be kind to me or my friends. They were so much older, we were so much younger, but they were. There's comfort in people in the neighborhood like that. A couple of years ago, I learned that Lorraine had just retired from being a school teacher her whole life. And I thought that was fitting that she carried that kindness that she had set as a standard for herself when she was so young. And we did some things that were very spontaneous and other things that we did the exact same every year. We would bundle up and sing Christmas carols all through our neighborhood from our house down to our grandparents'. And then we'd go inside and we'd sit on the floor and count the money. And our grandmother would make hot chocolate and some kind of snack. Whatever she cooked, she would just set out for us, and we'd be there on the floor. And not just my brothers and sisters, but it was all the friends. It was all the neighborhood kids. We had that tight bond, and there's just hope in that. Thanksgiving evening, my mom would get the Christmas albums out. Andy Williams, Bing Crosby, Perry Como, Elvis, and Johnny Cash. And we'd start watching her specials like Lawrence Welk and Glenn Campbell. And hopefully we'd get to watch our specials. You know, we'd watch all the Christmas shows. Little Drummer Boy to me was just like the most deepest, impactful thing. When they paint a smile on that poor, broken-hearted face, and he's healed by love, by pure love, and the love of baby Jesus. And there's such hope in that little boy, and the world seemed right when you know that little sheep was brought back to life and saved. Or you look at Rudolph, and if Santa can accept a reindeer with a glowing nose or an abominable snowman, maybe we can just get along with each other for just the season and maybe a little longer. You know, these aren't really religious traditions, but for a kid, there's an anticipated hope of the season, something just gentle and tender. And we each have those moments in our lives that give us hope, that we bond to. And I know, Rachel, you're going to have these anticipated hopes with your kids, Mariah and Avery, and you're going to watch them through the season. And we all do that. We all get to reflect on those moments. And I like that we start this season off with hope, because hope is the birth of it all. Hope is the building block that becomes faith. You know, faith may be the workhorse, but hope is the seed. It's wishful confidence. It's a friendly participation and anticipation in our future. It's that moment when we can see each other. And if we can look with the eyes of a child, we can see hope in that. And we see what Jesus meant when he said, whoever humbles himself as a child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Because it's a time before we were jaded. There's no cynicism in hope. Hope is just pure. I think of the hope of a child before a holiday. They wonder who they'll see, how the season will play out, what gifts they will get. Mom and dad will like the gift that they made, some kind of carved thing or macaroni art design from school. And hope is in each passing day, each song, each new scent from the candle or from the cooking in the kitchen. And it builds each time you see a Christmas light or someone living a ritual or tradition, because that brings you closer to your connection. And it builds in the way that we treat each other. You know, we go through Thanksgiving, we get this crazy, oh, we got to buy. But then as the season progresses, it takes on its own pace where we just notice each other and we treat each other better. And there's hope that that will last throughout the year. And every year, I hope it does. And to be honest, every year, even though stuff happens, I feel closer with more and more people every year. So it does get fulfilled, at least in me. I mean, I look around today and I'm so thankful for this moment. This was my hope from last year coming to fruition. You know, so I look at this season, I look at the anticipation of an expected mother. You know, I picture that scene over a couple thousand years ago. And I know talk sometimes does not filter my vision of Jesus in the manger. It always seems so quiet, so loving, something pure and hopeful in the birth story, the walk to Bethlehem, not finding a place. So they create a loving area in the manger. Joseph and Mary tenderly looking down. And again, in my mind, not a word was spoken. Yet it's a transformation of love and hope for the world. Now, each year, my mother would read Luke 2 through 21 to us. And that's kind of how I want to begin this season, so we get a sense of what it's about. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and the line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for the baby to be born, and she gave her firstborn a son. She wrapped him in clothes and placed him in a manger because there was no guest room available for them. And there were the shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel from the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them. And they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today, in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah. He is the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will have a baby wrapped in clothes and lying in a manger." Suddenly, a great company of heavenly hosts appeared with the angel, praising God, saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those to whom his favor rests." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about." So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby, who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what they had been told about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds had said to them. But Mary treasured up all of these things and pondered them from the heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things that they had heard and seen, for which they had just been told. And on the 8th day, when it was time to circumcise the child, he was named Jesus, in the name the angel had given them before he was conceived. Each year when we look at this story, there is a hope of rebirth, of all the best that can be within each of us. I felt that hope every time my mother read the line, and an angel from the Lord appeared. So it's in this thought and spirit that we light the first Advent candle of the year. Theory. Okay. If you need to get coffee while I'm trying to do this. So each week we will light a candle so we get to the final one on Christmas Eve or on our Friday before Christmas Eve service. But this represents hope. I did the chocolate letters because we don't really have an Advent candle. So each week after we do this, we can break up the chocolate and have chocolate at fellowship. I'm working here. So we have hope when we look back at our lives and we see what worked out for us. Hope during the Christmas season is a reminder of past times in our lives that got us to this moment, that we made it. Faith, again, is the workhorse, but hope is a reflection of the past placed into the new. There are things that give us hope. I find hope in youth. I watch my kids have hope. I see Rachel's kids have hope. I look out my window in the spring and I see hope in the spring. I have a friend, Joe, who is a diehard skier. He gets hope when the leaves fall. Don't understand that? But we each have those things and moments that gives us hope. And hope, if done right, does not diminish faith. Sometimes it may be hard when hope does not seem to come to fruition and faith can be tested. But we all have those ebbs and flows. And when the tide turns, we need hope to reignite faith. I have hope in people. I have hope in the world. I have hope in looking outside in the climate, in our political situation. I have hope in every aspect of this life because I get to look at my youthful hope and see how it has moved us forward to this point. We are here. Each one of us are here. Each one in the world is here today because at some point we relied on hope to get us there. When I met Casey, there was a hope. When Brenda and Casey met, there was a hope. When I met each of you, there was a hope. And here you all are. What's better than that? Identify the hopes in your life. Tie them together. Hope and faith. Hope and dreams are your canvas. Hope is what you do for it. Wholeness and strength. Is it for finances? Is it for fun? Is it for happiness? Do you have hope for others? Do you have hope for our planet? What actions will you take to bring your hopes to realization? If you have hope for a better world, show up for the world. Offer the world hope. Reach out to those you may not know. Each week, Lynn and Charlie volunteer at the animal shelter. Hope to fruition. I know those lost animals have some kind of hope. They don't know what it is, and then they show up. And there's some love in that. Your contact raises each person and each situation with each moment. You know, with hope, action is required. There's a plan that needs to be set into motion. Some hope requires additional action to come into fruition. But hope is the simplest inheritance that we get from God. And it may be the most powerful. Set aside time to hope. Set aside time to dream. In the hard moments, but do it in the good moments when it's easy. So during the hard moments, it comes to you as natural as breathing. Take time this season to think about the hopes of the past, the things that you thought about in your youth that just touched you in a way. You know, reach into your 38 Orchard Street and just settle in for a moment and remember your childhood hopes. I would like to bring this to a meditation. And if you have a meditative song that we can do before this, or if you're already put away, it's okay. I threw him a curveball. Kevin, thank you so much. I invite each of you to take a deep, calming breath and develop your comfortable pace for breathing in and out. My meditation today is about my hopes for you. My first hope is that you always feel love, that the sun shines always, and when you feel darkness, that you have a star to follow. That star leads you to your personal path of what fulfills your heart, your spirit, your connection, and creates the life that you are meant to live. I hope that you enjoy as many moments in present time as you possibly can. That you recognize that each moment is a new moment to be the best you. Only you are the best you. I see you in wholeness, pure health, and pure happiness. And my hope is that you experience this tenfold. My love to you amplified. And I'd like you to take a moment to wish this for others. Those you know and those you do not know. Those locally, nationally, and around our planet. If it's someone you're thinking of, you're at home, please put their initials or their name in the comment box. If not, then just a heart emoji, prayer emoji, a smile, or hold them in the forefront of your mind. And if you're comfortable here saying that name aloud or those initials, feel free to do so. If not, just offer a little hand prayer signal to them. I think again today of baby Jace, who was flying up from Tampa to Boston to begin his cancer treatment. And I think of everyone who is going through the holiday season, struggling. And to all these, we wish them health, wholeness, and happiness, and we affirm that it is so. And so it is. Amen. And as we come back to the room, I'm going to ask anyone, who would like to, thank you, Bonnie. Just take a moment to do collections, and then we'll do the prayer of tithes and offerings. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. And I would like to conclude this service with a prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, all is well, and we are richly blessed. Thank you all.